Hello, my dear friends. Greetings again. So, welcome back to the show. Jack Zhao hosting East West on GNE TV. At GNE TV, we pay attention to all aspects of life. Every time when something occurs, we just move the camera to cover it. Now, with an issue as big as this, of course, we shall not miss it. So, joining me are two good friends of mine, Mr. Wild Chang, attorney at law, and Mr. Jimmy Kimmel, and an employee at Macy, however, not representing Macy, just as a average Joe of America. So we're talking about the issue, ABC issue, about the killing of Chinese. So I call it genocidal. All right, I call it a criminal act at least. So I don't know how everybody else shall call it. So now, to Mr. Wild Chang, I know you are running a position of a school district, right? Elected officials, right? Okay, now, and earlier when we prepared the show, you mentioned your campaign, thinking that these two issues are related.
Correct.
So, can you let my audience know how come your campaign is related to the very issue we're talking about?
Okay. Thank you for asking this question.
Since you mentioned just now, right? Okay, now.
Actually, before a lot of similar incidents, I have been always averse to politics. I never liked politics. However, recently I'm compelled to participate in an election. I'm right now running for the Roland Unified School District School Board, because I've seen essentially similar discrimination by the school board teachers and principals against Asian people, Asian students. They can actually abuse the Asian students simply because why the parents cannot speak good English. They did not realize I was able to challenge them. All right. Often they will use illegal school rule to punish students, Asian students.
I see.
Yes, because very clear in this state, absent any prior written notice to a parent, no school can punish any student, period. Okay, no. So that's very simple, so I decided to participate. And then I realized, throughout my campaign, you will find a lot of Asian people, they don't want to vote. He said, look, if I go to vote, then I become a candidate for jury duties. And I don't want to go to court, all right? It's not true. Because as long as you have a driver's license, you are a candidate to be a jury. But the bigger picture, bigger problem I see is we don't have sufficient voice in the political process.
All right, the voice you're talking about.
Yes, because when you say democracy in this country, it means votes. You can get your people to Washington, then you have more voice. Just consider now at this juncture, the entire Congress is probably monopolized by Jewish people. If you make similar remarks to a Jewish race,
I would say you get killed.
The repercussion would be
I would say you get killed before the Chinese get killed.
Yes.
If that's the case, right? Okay.
I think the ABC probably is controlled by the Jewish people. All right? So what I'm trying to raise the public concern is we should go beyond just the ABC. Not the ABC should apologize. I think all other medias in this country, particularly the main company, CBS or whatever, ABC and NBC, they should really sit down and think, don't you think it's inappropriate for ABC to have that kind of shot every now and then, or even from other medias, to take Chinese people like we can always make fun of it, get a kick out
For
of
that, I have an insertion. Yesterday at the show, I interviewed Mr. Mike Yin, trustee of the board of LACCSD, LA County Community College School District, right? He says, ABC really has to learn their ABCs.
Yes.
That is exactly the ABC you're talking about.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? We have to teach our ABCs, which means American-born Chinese, to learn their ABCs being that they deserve the same right as non-ABCs. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, now, sure. I know. Your point is that you're running this campaign is trying to bring the awareness of the voice,
Yes.
which is not enough, which is the the cause of such a thing continuously happening, we can't stop, right?
That's
so, let me turn to John though. To a general opinion, during your years staying in the United States, do you think in the mainstream, at the very bottom of the concept, of the basic concept, they really have the equality imprinted in the mind so that people of color, non-color, Eastern, Western, white or black, whoever, are actually equal?
Oh, it's really a serious question. And
yeah, that's a very serious question. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, this country is should be in the Constitution, and you said we're all created equal, and then we're supposed to treat people as equally. And well, in the real society and real life, we do have this kind of unequal treatment and discrimination happening in every day, every moment. Like people get killed by, particularly the last incident we had in Florida, the Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman case.
And that created a huge sensation. And even after such a long proceedings of the procedures, and the last, he's just committed as
very good example. Very good example. Yes.
Yeah, he was not put in the jail, and
no, he's a free man like you and me.
And then in African American society, they're still fighting for their rights. And we do need to do our efforts to get our rights and have our voice in this community, in this country. And in the meanwhile, and I think, we, from Chinese background, we do have a lot of influence in this society, in this community, particularly like the company I'm working in, Macy's. 90% of the products coming from China, and people.
You have the better say. You see the Chinese product.
They can see we can do so much
basis,
influence,
right?
and in technology and in computer science, the iPad. Everything iPhone.
The Chinese product is supporting the consumer market.
Yes,
a big deal, right?
And that has been already admitted. That's been widely well known in this country, and and people still talk about whether we can.
I certainly agree that things are getting better, because at least John gave a very good example at Macy's or at any of those stores like Kmart, like Walmart. Chinese products are supporting the consumer market already, which is a fact. People say if they are not thankful to Chinese, at least they say, "Oh my God, it's cheaper than I buy from elsewhere," right? At least they can say that. That's a good point. By and by, things will change. But your answer is that at the bottom of the concept, the general concept, yes, it is a fact. People are not considered equally. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
Well, I think I not quite agree with that. We basically we need to think that we basically create equal, and any instance happening there is not of the mainstream, and we should be aware of it.
And John just now put in the example, third example there, which is the George Zimmerman case versus Trayvon Martin, right? And in Florida. As attorney, though, do you think that's a good example to apply in here, that people between white and color, between non-color, color and non-color, they are not treated or considered or accepted equally?
It's never been equal, you know that. It's impossible. All you can do is apply the law to protect yourself as much as you can. But in that particular case, Florida has a very particular statute. Means self-defense is allowed.
Yeah, I know, but I know that.
And because of the statute, that's how Zimmerman was able to get away. And because in that community, the white was more. Actually, than the black people. And that's why even Obama could not do anything.
All right.
However, if you go to Washington, D.C., you go to Georgia, you go to Atlanta, it will be a different story. Or Chicago. All right? So it's very obvious. All right? So in this country, I would say democracy is really a phantom idea. Equal protection, whatever, I don't think it's really actually there. All you need is you have to assert your rights. You have to apply the law.
Democracy is only a slogan so
it's
far.
only a slogan.
Only a slogan
Yes.
so far. All right, we're running out of time. Only one thing I'm asking you from this statement is that if you assume the color switch, do you still expect the same result as an attorney?
Well, whenever you have the majority, whenever you have political representations, if you're the majority, you control.
Yeah.
Just like light
That
bulb.
is exactly my question. I mean, switch the color. Suppose Trayvon Martin was non-black and George Zimmerman was black. Are you still expecting the same result?
No.
Of course not. So that's the answer. Thank you very much for the answer. Thank you very much for the answer. So, you gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, stay there right away. We'll be right back. Take a very, very short moment before you realize.